The Mega Man X Legacy Collection just came out, and the first time I played it, I was more than a little surprised.
Oh!
Why is that? Input latency, yeah.
How bad is input latency? That input latency's there.
Now, to give you some context, I play retro consoles on original hardware using an OSSC, which takes the console's native analog video signal and turns it into a nice HDMI signal with no added lag. I've also been playing these games on the Super NT, which is a low-lag, high-quality SNES FPGA console made by Analog. I'm incredibly sensitive to input lag, and let me tell you, this collection has a good bit of lag. But I was curious how much lag, so I set out to do some tests on the original SNES upscaled via the OSSC, the Super NT, and the Mega Man X Legacy Collection running on the PS4. In my testing, I actually gave the X Legacy Collection two major advantages. One, I used the 8BitDo SNES wireless controller adapter so I could use my DualShock 4 on the SNES and Super NT. The Bluetooth connection from the DualShock 4 adds about 3 milliseconds of latency, but this latency should be roughly identical across all systems. If I used a real Super Nintendo controller, then the retro consoles would lose lag over the PS4 version. But I don't have a modded SNES controller to test lag with, so we will allow the PS4 that mild advantage. Number 2. The Super NT downclocks its hardware by a small bit so it perfectly matches up with a 60Hz refresh rate instead of the SNES's slightly faster 60.09 Hz refresh rate. This, in theory, would add a bit more input latency over the original hardware because it's running slower, but it's negligible. So to test the input latency, all we do is measure the amount of time between me pushing the jump button, which is indicated by this LED lighting up, and the reaction on screen, and then we subtract the display's intrinsic input latency from that number. All of this is filmed at 1200 frames per second. So, how does it all shake out? The original Super Nintendo clocked in at about 46.9583333 milliseconds, or about 2.8175 frames. The Super NT measured out to about 47.5 milliseconds, or 2.85 frames, and the X Legacy Collection on the PS4 measured out to 132.8 milliseconds, or 7.9675 frames of lag. So, how bad is this in terms of input lag? Well, that's only 0.0325 frames of input lag away from a square 8, so I'm just going to generalize from here on and say 8 frames of lag. 8 frames of lag is really bad. Judging by my prior tests using the same methodology on the Mega Man Legacy Collection on PS4, the input lag there is about 4.55 frames, which isn't great, but it's much better than this. That also means that based on our test with Killzone 2, the X Legacy Collection's input lag is closer to Killzone 2's 12.775 frames of lag than the Super Nintendo's 2.8175 frames of lag. That's absurd, but perhaps that's the nature of large emulation collections on modern consoles. Oh wait, according to WIDD's input lag tests, which I believe are similar to Nigel Woodall's testing method, the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike on the PS4 is only about 3.5 frames, and that's a large emulation collection, so I really don't know what to say here. This collection is a little rough. It definitely has its glitches and severe input lag, but I still think it deserves your support because the sales of Mega Man Legacy Collection is what led to Mega Man 11, and the sales of the X Legacy Collection will definitely affect how successful they expect X9 to be and how much money and talent they're willing to pour into it. In conclusion, input lag sucks. Later.
This video burst into existence via the extra-dimensional powers of our executive producer God Kings. Vincent Poverk, Cywolf, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Joshua Mattingly, Brendan OSullivan, Trouncing Trogdor, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Shadow in the Darkness, Malezra, Danny Richardson, Luigi 1000, Drysart, and Wardonis. Thanks, God Kings!
And also thanks to these guys.
Head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today to become one of these names.